Hi, I'd like to welcome you to the Year 9 first screen session looking at the Akosombo Dam. Concept of this idea is that we're going to look at the content at home so that we can then look at the application in class. And it's a slightly different way of learning for you, but it should encourage independence and enable you to actually think through problems more clearly. So, you've done a lesson today looking at aid, and what we're going to look at now is an example of a form of aid in regards to the Akosombo Dam. And we're going to figure out who benefited from the construction of the dam and why. So, a little bit of history for you. Ghana was a British colony but became independent in 1957. And as a consequence of that, it came into some problems. Now, we've looked at what happened with countries which came out of colonisation. There's a couple of issues that Ghana had in 1957. One, they had no real industry of their own. They had a fairly poorly educated population, and they were largely a rural agricultural economy. So they had no real areas to actually generate any income. So the president at the time decided that something needed to be done about this, and he wanted to develop the country quickly. And his solution to this was to build a dam called the Akosombo Dam, which was going to provide hydroelectricity and enable them to generate money for the future. However, at that point in time, they didn't have any money, so they ended up borrowing it through loans from the World Bank and the USA and a company. Okay, and that company was an aluminium company called Valco, because they found a huge amount of bauxite, which is aluminium ore, in Ghana, and therefore what they wanted to do was extract that bauxite, which they did very effectively. However, it came at a cost to Ghana, and so what we can see is the Akosombo Dam, and here we've got some images of it. So when they built the Akosombo Dam, it was built on the Volta River, and it created behind it Lake Volta. This is one of the largest man-made lakes in the world, frankly, and it covers 3.6% of all of Ghana's area. So what was at one point in time just a standard river valley has suddenly become a lake. Now, that had consequences. Okay, it meant that 80,000 people who lived on this river valley and used it for farming, and it was a very fertile farming area, had to be moved away. When the lake was formed, 700 villages were also destroyed. However, it also created some positive things as well. You can see in these images the scale of the dam that was built in terms of the landscape, and you can see the lake trailing off into the distance, and this image probably gives you the best idea. These pipes here are to generate hydroelectric power. Now, the good thing about hydroelectric power is it is completely sustainable, and by running the water through here they can turn turbines and cause no pollution whatsoever. The building of the dam has enabled Ghana to not only generate electricity for themselves, but also sell it to the neighbouring countries of Togo and Benin. Okay, there is a major problem here though. When the aid was set up and they were given the money, it came in the form of tied deals, and the problem is that Valco, the aluminium company, got to receive all the revenue from the aluminium, and none of it went to Ghana. So whilst they'd built the dam, they weren't actually receiving any money back in the long term, and they were in debt as a consequence of it. However, it did create some positives. It created fishing and farming. There's now a tourism industry based around this dam, and it creates sustainable energy, as mentioned earlier. However, it has also had some major problems as well. It's destroyed habitats. If you think about the fact that 3.6% of the country is covered in water, that's going to destroy a large amount of vegetation, including natural habitats. Okay. Second problem is that due to the increasing level of water, the area has had an increase in waterborne diseases, including malaria. There are some other issues as well, and what I'm going to encourage you to do is, on this slide we've got a series of questions. What I'd like you to just make notes on, and only notes, is why did Ghana build the dam? What were the positives of it? What were the negatives of it? and who do you think benefited most from Ghana building a dam? Now what you can do is you can go back in the video and you can pause it and you can listen to me again talking about different things. Alternatively, we've got some other sources of information for you as well. So if you go onto the internet and if you just do a Google search for the Akosombo Dam, what you'll find is a series of different links. So if this is the first thing you search on Google, what you want to look at is the history of Akosombo Dam. This gives you a direct link to this text here. This is quite complex but gives you a lot of depth. There is obviously also some information on Wikipedia, but beware of its accuracy. There is also some information on here on Encyclopedia Britannica, which is and holds a lot more accuracy because it is not written by members of the public. Okay, so these are some sources for you to be looking at. Hope this helped, and be ready to come into the lesson on Monday with lots of information to go forward. Okay.